Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Project Cars 3 because a new add-on pack has arrived. So I do have Ultimate Edition, so this is free if you do have that, or whatever the best edition's called. But basically it's an electric car pack. So I think there's 4 new vehicles, the first of which is this Porsche Taycan Turbo S, which I'll be testing out in a minute. Let's just have a quick flick through and see what else there is on here. So actually, haven't really played this all that much since the last pack was added. So yeah, I still have no money, so we're just going to be testing these out in free play. There are still some cars from the very early sort of update pack thing that I haven't tried out, so we need to get back to those at some point. But theoretically, there is 3 more electric cars in here somewhere. There's the Porsche, I think there was a Neo or something. There we go. We've got the 2020 Audi AI race concept. That's our second electric car. That's quite cool actually. It's sort of a single scene. That's interesting. Not really seen that before. We've got obviously 2019 Neo EP9, very cool electric hypercar. As seen on Grand Tour, I think, a little while ago. That's kind of cool. In the Chinese Food for Thought episode, if I'm correct. And the Volkswagen Ida, to use Elf's phrase for it. Yes, that is the final car we'll be testing out, the IDR. Mad thing. I'm not sure it's in much other than Horizon 4. But yeah, that will be cool. That's what we'll get to as our 4th and final machine. So, I think we should start with the Taycan. Wherever it was. Road C, probably. There we go. I want that, and I want it in... Why are the wheels not changing to match like they do on the real car? Ooh. Okay. That's cool. Yes, look at these. We've got some retro liveries. I love that. We've got the old 917, the sort of Visac livery, I guess. That's what you have in the Visac pack. 918, isn't it? And we've got the definitely not Rothman's livery. What's that called, that race team? That, anyway. And we've got the Gulf colours, obviously. Not sure what that is. I think we've... I'm probably going to go with that. Right, let's find a circuit suitable for testing a Taycan out at. Okay, so we're at the Bannock Bray circuit, which I think is Scotland. Anyway, UK. It's basically a road. One of the few that's sort of more like a road than a track, but quite cool. Let's go into gear. It's not quite necessary to have Porsche written there when you've got Porsche written there, but okay. Got the... I'm not quite sure why they didn't put the cool wing off the Panamera on this thing. Anyway, we won't spend too long looking at the Taycan because I've driven it in Gran Turismo Sport and in Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon... Wait. I'm making that up, aren't I? It's not in Forza Horizon 4. I've driven it on other games. Gran Turismo Sport, I've definitely driven it on. So did they add it to Dirt 5? I think they did. That's what I'm thinking of. But anyway, I quite like this circuit because it's sort of like a road, and this is in the end a road vehicle. So we'll take it for maybe 1 lap around here. And then I will jump into something else. How do we get... Interior view. I think that one. We don't really want helmet cam because we're imagining we're driving a road vehicle, not a racing driver. So obviously, as always, electric cars feel a little bit odd because you can't hear anything. And we don't have to worry about changing gear, but it's just very fast and very silent, which is kind of what you'd expect. Although this is actually the slowest vehicle we're going to test out today. Yeah. It's kind of just a very good road car. It's not that exciting to drive, it's just fast, electric, and more interesting than a lot of electric cars. But obviously not ridiculously expensive hypercar like the Neo, which I think is the next. It's either the Neo or the Audi AI thing, which is a concept. So we've got a road car, sort of normal road car-ish, hypercar, concept car, and a race car. Right, anyway. Like I say, I've driven this before on other games, so that's probably enough of a drive with the Taycan. Let's hop into a second car in the pack and find a slightly different circuit. So the next car we're going to look at is the Audi AI Race Concept 2020 it says, but it's a 2018 concept, and I couldn't remember it, but I've actually seen this car. I didn't recognise it from the front. Basically where I saw it at a show, you saw the rear first, and I didn't get a good look at the front. But yeah, it's a electric hatchback concept, which I don't quite know why it's an AI race. It's sort of more of a... Anyway, it's quite a cool thing. 661 horsepower, range of 361 miles, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Yeah, let's see what colours are available. Ooh, these are cool. Are we going to have any sort of classic Audi liveries? I guess that's kind of what these are. Yeah, I guess it is kind of developed for a race series. It's got a single seat in the middle, but it's a sort of hatchback-shaped vehicle, which is interesting. I quite like that. There's a lot of choice in this, actually. These are cool. Where's the one I saw? That one. Okay, let's find some kind of race circuit to test the AI race on. Okay, so I've come to Portimao because the F1 was there last weekend, and I've never really driven it, so I have no idea where I'm going. Which means nothing could possibly go wrong. I realised maybe I should have used this in a race because it's an AI race. Maybe we'll do that after a couple of practice laps. Maybe I'll do a race around here. But yeah, it's sort of odd because it's a hatchback that looks like it could almost be a road car, but it's not. It's a race car, and it has a... Ooh, look at that. You can see the... That's brilliant. I love how you can see the suspension through that. But yeah, 600 horsepower. Oh, I don't know where I'm going. 600 horsepower thing. Can you see the road behind the speedometer, or is that just a... Is that a... It's like a window in the... That's kind of cool. I love how you can see the suspension. Slightly a shame that we've got the sort of fuzzy edges on all the shapes, which is one sort of big flaw with this game. But it's cool that we've got so many circuits like this that aren't in many games. And some interesting cars like this, which again aren't in many games. But yeah, this thing's cool. I love this sort of shooting brake shape. Can you imagine, without all the aero bits on, without the wing, without all the splitter and stuff, and without the livery, this would make a really good looking road car. Really chuck it about. That's one of the cool things about this game. You can really, like, chuck cars into slides. And know that 90% of the time you can catch the thing. Right, well I think as this is called an AI race, I'll finish this lap and then we'll... Maybe I should pick a track I know. I know it well enough. let's get some AI in here. Okay, so we're starting in the middle of a 32 car grid of identical Audi AI race vehicles, which I guess is kind of what they're designed for. This is going to be cool. Although it's not an AI race, is it? Because it's got a driver. Anyway, no idea what difficulty these are on. And I don't exactly know where I'm going. I know I can brake later than that. And to go round the outside of everybody. Right. Okay, maybe the difficulty is low. Oh, that's a bit pathetic. Let me go and fix that. Okay, so from last week's Formula 1 circuit to this week's Formula 1 circuit. We're at Catalonia. Let's see if... Ah, okay. When you get into this section, then you can set the difficulty. Okay. Let's just maximize them. I think I know where I'm going around here. Okay. This should be more interesting, and then we'll hop in the Neo. But yeah, this is probably the only car out of all of them that I've not driven on any other games. The Taycan's in Gran Turismo and now Dirt as well. Oh, sorry everyone. How do we use the boost thing? I've forgotten.
Don't worry, mate, you can get...
Ouch. Right, let's try that again. Yeah, obviously I've driven the Taycan in Gran Turismo and Dirt. And then... this I've not driven in anything. The Neo I drove in the Grand Tour game a long time ago, but that's probably not a very good example of what it's like. And the IDR's obviously in Horizon 4.
Forget about the start now. Keep pushing hard and
Okay,
earn
get
those
to the
places
inside
back.
there. Try and push our way through a little bit. A little bit of bumping, but we've got 32 cars on a track that's probably not designed for quite that many. Okay, this is more like the difficulty we want it on. Not sure why it's got turned to very easy. I don't think I've ever used it on that. Oh. Slight bump on him. Let's try a bit of interior cam. I do need to get in and do some online racing. Oh. Project Cars 3 here. Oh, I'm not the only one that's done that. There's dust everywhere. Alright, let's just not go off here. I didn't, but I lost some positions, although some other cars did go off. Right, one more lap. And we're back where we started, which... further down than where we started, which isn't good.
This is your final lap.
Sorry. Yeah, he's gone onto the gravel. Okay, we're going to get 14th, which means we gain 2 positions. Which isn't bad going, I guess, with the difficulty that we're on. Right.
But keep pushing. We'll do better in the
That was
next
fun, though. It's not a bad little car. That'd be quite cool, a one-make series with these. Yeah, a road car version would be so cool, though. It's a good-looking machine. Anyway, let's hop in the Neo, which this is the first sort of proper game that's had it. The Grand Tour game, yes, but you don't really get to drive it all that much in that game. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like in this game. Right, so next up is the Neo EP9, which stands for Electric Performance 9. How imaginative. But yes, Chinese electric hypercar. assisted development from their Formula E racing team, which is probably where you've heard the name first before you heard of this thing. But yeah, it's a track day car. It's not road legal, but it's an electric hypercar with 1,341 horsepower, which can't possibly go wrong. But yeah, that should be cool to give a test out. So yeah, over 1,000 horsepower electric hypercar. Being electric, it's still fairly heavy. I mean, it's not bad. It's 1,735 kilos or 3,825 pounds, depending on which way you want to measure it. And yeah, 6 of them apparently have been sold to Neo investors for £2.5 million each. And they'll be making 10 additional ones to sell to the general public. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this handles on a game that isn't the Grand Tour game. Apparently it can do 0 to 62 in 2.7 seconds and 124 in 7.1. Yeah, it can go up to 217 miles an hour. Okay, let's see, what colours is this available in? I seem to remember it didn't have very good range, and when it ran out you had to pull the whole side off to change the batteries or something. Weird. That's kind of the colour I remember it from the Grand Tour. I think it was that sort of blue. Got a nice purpley colour. Or we've got some race liveries. That's cool, actually. Like the Formula E car. Neo EP9, Neo EP9, Neo EP9, written in several other texts. That's kind of cool, but I think in the end it is a road car. Let's go for a slightly different blue to what they had on the Grand Tour, and find a circuit that I am vaguely familiar with. Okay, so Hockenheimring, not raced here for a little while. Obviously home to Formula 1 sometimes when the Nürburgring's not being used. But yeah. We're in a race. Never mind. Should be interesting to race some 1,000+ horsepower hypercars around a German Formula 1 circuit. Because why not? I mean, we might as well be in a race. It's probably more interesting than me just driving about. Yeah, let's see if we can do slightly better than we did in the Audi and work our way up a little bit higher than I finished 14th in the end. Oh! We've already had an expensive accident. I duck under you, no, because there's another car there. Sandwiched by yellow things. Oh, it's quite busy. 32 Neos racing around Germany. Considering they're only building, what did I say, 6 plus 10 for the public, 16 of them. Why is everyone stopping? It's like corner cut. And we've fallen back to 19th, which isn't good. Whoa. Big slide. Oh, there's still one on the inside. He's still there. He's still there. He's still there. Ow. Why do they all... None of them are capable of doing that corner for some reason. Seems anything that sharp, they just get confused on. Like the final corner of Catalonia, they couldn't get it right without going on the gravel. So if you take advantage of their not quite perfect driving, you can work your way up. Sorry. You can work your way up the field. Means we can gain another position. It should be flat, right? Yes, but probably not if there's a car on the outside. We'll have to squeeze
That's P7.
off.
Good job.
Whoa! Big oversteer, but we've somehow still in front of them. Oh no. We outbraked him, but because we outbraked the car. still, 11th is better than I was doing in the Audis, and these are hypercars rather than racing cars. But yeah, it's a bit of a pointless car, to be honest. It's track only. Obviously the Avaya and the C2 that I'm talking about are road legal. This is a track only hypercar, and as they proved on the Grand Tour, the recharging of it is a bit stupid because you have to pull that whole lower section out, and yeah, it's not terribly practical. Not that that's really the point of it. But out of those three, the C2 and the Avaya is probably my favourite. But yeah, the Porsche Taycan is probably, I don't know, it's the most sort of usable, interesting electric car. These are kind of still a bit ridiculous, a lot of the other ones. Anyway, VW IDR, or the IDA, is the final car to test out, which obviously we've driven in Horizon 4, so I won't go too much into the details of the car. But I'll hop in it and see if we can find some kind of hill climb stage, maybe? Right, VW IDR. Obviously we've got the normal livery. We've got a red... Ooh, is that like a Pikes Peak one? No, because it's... Okay, so we've got the blue one, we've got a nice red. That's cool, actually. We've got that, and that, blue and red. Got a nice highlighty yellow. Some cool liveries, actually. I can imagine a one-make race series with these on this game. That's cool. What do we want, though? Ooh, yes, there's a purple one. Okay. Having that. Yeah, these might be quite cool to race, actually, but yeah, I'll find somewhere time trial if I can. Okay, I had a brilliant idea. We're going to do the big Nürburgring in the IDR. It's a sort of quite often time trialed track, so it makes sense in a time trialed car. And there's lots of corners in a high downforce car, which kind of makes sense. Ooh, I forgot this thing sounded like that. Oh. It's weird, because you lift off and it's still whirring, which is a bit weird. But yeah, you forget you can just sort of not quite go flat out everywhere, but you can go very fast. Obviously we're not going to be doing any kind of time lap with this, but it seems like an appropriate setting to test it. That wing is ridiculous because it sticks out so much more than the car that you're just going to clip it on a wall or something and have a massive accident. But yeah, this is probably, I don't know, it's the most mad extreme car in the pack. But obviously I've driven it in Horizon 4, so it's not anything new. The Neo is kind of the most interesting to test out because I've not driven it at all. And the Audi AI thing was cool, so that's not... Well, that's the only one I've completely not driven at all. The Neo I've only driven briefly in the Grand Tour game. So it's cool to have that in a sort of more full game, if you like. And the Audi thing was a nice surprise. This is a cool car, but like I say, I've driven it in Horizon 4, which, to be honest, handles slightly better than this game. Slightly. There's not much in it, I'll be honest. But... oh, it's an invalid lap time. That's not very helpful. Not that I'm paying attention to that. It would be interesting to see what it does, even on a scruffy lap. But yeah, obviously I'm getting nowhere near its potential around here. How's it going to handle the carousel? Not very well, because I outbraked myself. Back into the dip. There we go. I'm not sure in real life you would ride the bank on there, because it would probably rip that splitter off, but... anyway. And it's going to be sub 6 minutes to the gantry, I think. And then I'll give you a full lap time as well. That's the gantry, isn't it? 5:45. Ooh. That was bad. Still though. It's going to be just under 6:30. Nope, just over 6:30. So yeah, 6 minutes 30. Why is it invalid lap time again? I haven't gone off. It's stopped. 6 minutes 30 on a scruffy lap like that is not bad at all for that IDR. But yeah, that is the fourth and final vehicle of the pack. So if you have Ultimate Edition and you haven't played this game for a while, hop back on. There are 4 electric cars to try out: the Taycan, the Audi AI Race, the Neo, and this. So yeah, if you haven't driven it on here for a while, these cars are now available. And yeah, I do still mean to go back and test out. I think it was the first pack that got added with some of the hypercars, the Cyan, the SF19, things like that. I do mean to come back in and test those out at some point soon. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for a first look at these 4 new electric cars. Obviously, the Neo was probably the most interesting to drive because it's new, and I haven't driven it on anything else. The Taycan's cool, but it's in a couple of games. This is in a couple of games. And the Audi thing was a nice surprise. That was quite good as a race, a one-make race sort of vehicle. But yeah, that is going to do it for a first look at these 4 new electric cars here on Project Cars 3. Do let me know if you've enjoyed this video, because I'd like to hop on and test out some of the cars from that first add-on pack at some point soon. But yeah, that's all for this video, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.